Morning, hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Suffolk Business Podcast. We are here today joined by the amazing, the lovely, the talented, the gorgeous James Curson from Curson Carpentry. How are you, mate?
I'm very, very well, yeah. How are you two?
Good.
Very well, mate. Very well.
Good.
Very well.
Good.
Let's crack on. James, talk to us a little bit about your business, what it does, how it helps, etc. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, so my company is predominantly a commercial carpentry contractors. So I started that on the back end of 2012 and really sort of got the guns going in 2013. I previously had another business, which obviously didn't work out, but you learn from your mistakes, don't you? And being a man and not wanting to be defeated, I thought I've got nothing to lose, I'll give it another go. And that's where I made that decision. I was working in a company which is huge now called Toppersfield, a road surfacing company, which is started by Matthew Pryor. Really enjoyed that, but I felt like I wasn't valued very much there. And although I did bring a lot of business in, I always felt quite small. But at the same breath, I think if I didn't work there, I wouldn't know how to win a lot of business today. So that taught me a lot, which is why I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason, and always take good experiences, good and bad, forward from you in your life. So anyway, I started then in late 2012, 2013. Actually, that's when I met my now wife, Lindsay. So that was a really nice time for me.
It was a love story.
I'm starting my business. I've got a lovely lady I'm with now. God, how great my life is. Yeah, it's like, well, let's really go for it. And I had so much motivation to make my own success. Then I carried on throughout 2013, just doing work, domestic work on people's houses, fitting kitchens and making joinery and all that. And I had a fairly decent job that I won, which is the travel stock in Hadley, which is converting the old beer barrel.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did. That was one of my first sort of major projects, really. And I had a contract there to fit all the inside out and make all the joinery bookcases in there.
Yeah.
I was thinking, God, I've got nowhere to make these bookcases. I could do with a workshop. Scouted on the internet, and the yard I'm currently in now was up for rent. So I thought I'd just nip in and see Malcolm, the owner, one day, and obviously we went through the agent, and then poof, that was my yard. Yeah, and that was like a year in. That was when we just became a limited company then, and I remember at the time signing the lease document at Nicholas Percival in Colchester, thinking, guys, this is risky, isn't it? God, look at this. But I'm like, what would I have done if I hadn't? Where wouldn't I be if I hadn't have done that? But if I've always followed my gut, just if you think it's a good decision, just do it.
Yeah.
You'll soon know if it's not a bad decision, and then I was too quick to do that, or I should have thought about more, or just held back a little bit and listened. I'm very impulsive. I'm like, if I walk around in the shop, I'm like, oh, they're a nice pair of shoes. Yeah, I'll have them. Oh, how much are they? Oh, well, I'll still have them then.
Yeah.
That's classic me.
Yeah.
my missus is like, oh, you're terrible, you are. Like, yeah, if I like something, I have it,
Yeah.
So that was like 18 months in. I remember getting that yard and God, building all these bookcases in this workshop, and I every time I walk in that workshop now, I always think about that first project.
Yeah.
And I think, how much other stuff have we now made in there that's still in great use in other buildings for other companies? So I got about another year later, I built up to about 6 to 8 guys. I was taking on apprentices. I love training young lads. I think the construction industry is so small.
Yeah.
With younger people coming through, because obviously the recession in 2008, a lot of people left the industry, myself included, which is when my first business didn't work out.
Yeah.
And people have moved on, gone to other things, so there's a big age gap and no one else has come through. So there's a massive skills shortage today, hence why the demand is high.
Yeah.
Obviously the rates are capped. We can get onto that a bit later if you want, but looking back at that now, I was about 6 to 8 blokes, and I was still working on the tools full time and going out in the evenings, pricing the work, doing domestic. And I was like, God, I'm so busy. So I made that decision to come off the tools part time. And that's another decision there. And I was
big one as well, isn't it? Especially in your industry as well.
Yeah.
To take that step back is a difficult decision to make, I imagine.
Yeah. Because for me at the time, I was like, I was one of the lead blokes bringing in most of the money going out, and you know, my quality of work was high, and I expected my blokes to do exactly how I worked. So I was like, are they still going to do that if I'm not there?
And then you learn quickly, actually, it's not always the case, is it? Because they're never, ever, ever going to be as good as you. And it's almost that acceptance, aren't they? Isn't it? To just be like, actually, they might not be up to my level, or they might not be how I would do it, but they're doing it how they would do it. And you almost have to celebrate that.
And are they hitting the mark?
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that I've come to realise over the years. Don't judge people on yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's a classic thing that I used to do, and hands up, I probably do still do it, but that's my criticism, if that's the right word, nature of always trying to pick fault in something to better myself.
Yeah.
You know, oh, they don't do that like me, but they do other things better than me. But I was like, don't judge people on my own ability.
It's the hardest thing, especially when you own something, when it's your baby, and you see people doing the work, and you'd be like, oh, that's not really how I would do it. And it's that balance between micromanaging them and actually giving them the freedom, because sometimes the right people don't need that micromanagement.
Yeah.
All they need is just to be let off and just do it how they want to do it. And it's about striking that balance, which as a business owner, and we're going to obviously talk about that in a minute, running a team is a big thing that you kind of have to learn quickly, because you don't do it at the beginning. Really, not many people do it at the beginning. They normally work within a team.
That's right.
I think it's important to know as well that no one's going to work as hard for your company as you do.
Yeah.
And a lot of business owners and employers expect that to happen, and it just doesn't. The reality of it is you will work the hardest.
Yeah,
You
because
will
I've
go the
got
extra
everything to
mile.
lose.
Exactly that. So
Whereas they just get another job, don't they?
another job, yes.
I don't matter to me, and my money.
Yeah.
But I actually try and instill that in people.
Yeah.
You know, like if you mess this up, not only do you mess my life up, but you mess everybody else's life who works here.
Yeah.
So try and think of that detrimental effect of your bad decision.
Order of consequence.
It's the domino effect, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
push one over, they all fall.
Amazing. So you've got this workshop. So obviously you're very, very pleased. You got this workshop. You're building all these amazing stuff out of it.
Yeah.
When was this? 2013.
Yeah, that was probably 2014.
Right.
When I just turned into a limited company then. So it's probably turning over about 200k then, I suppose.
And you got a team on board as well.
Yeah.
Cool. So what happens next?
Obviously come off the tools part-time, which at the time was like, oh, can the company sustain me not working as much? But then I looked like, well, I'm going to be winning more work because I've got more time to be going out and winning the work.
how did you handle that, being in the office more?
It was very weird.
For someone that's been so hands-on,
Yeah.
that must have been strange.
Yeah, it was.
Did you just want to do some things around the office and just quickly sort the door out?
Constantly sharpening pencils, really.
Yeah, that's right. So I ended up doing loads of work at the office, refurbing it, fitting new cabinetry, and putting.
So you're still hands-on there, mate.
Yeah. I was like going to work in the office in my scruff so I could do a little bit here and there, you know. But I eventually, and I remember like putting these shirts on and trousers and thinking like, God, you know, look how far I've come. Like, you know, when you put different clothes on, from going on the tools to off the tools, I was like, I'm a boss now.
It's a visual representation of where you are now. You look in the mirror and be like, okay, this is not what I looked like yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that progression, isn't it? It's cool.
So like, it was weird driving the van to work still. So that was another goal for me. Like, I'm all about goals. Like, I'd like to have this car. So I'd worked really hard and I achieved, and then I bought that car that I wanted, and I drove that car to work. And because I didn't want to wear a nice suit and trousers and turn up to a pricey job in a transit van. You know, I love my transit. I still have a transit today. I love transit vans, but it was that image of representation that I wanted my customers to perceive. That, oh, this guy, you know, he looks the part, he talks the part, I've seen his work, he seems really good. Yeah, his price might be a little bit more than somebody else, but he's come recommended, and he turned up on time, he spoke really good knowledge. So I built about a year after that, probably got to 12 blokes, I suppose, and then I was like, I really want to do some schools and housing and things like that, the actual commercial work. Because I got quite bored and very frustrated, actually is the right word, by domestic customers, and actually how needy they were, and actually how sometimes so price driven they could be. I get calls all the time, I need 10 doors hanging. When do you need it doing? Saturday. And this would be like a Wednesday. It's like,
It's the wrong expectation, isn't it? And
they
those
just
are the
think-
customers that you probably don't really want to target.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you give them a price, and they'll be like, I'll be like, oh, that's £1,000. Oh no, well, John down the pub can do it for $750. Let John down the pub do it for $750 and waste my time. And I had that all the time because I was growing and I was quite visible. I was like, I'm getting really annoyed with this. So I was like, let's have a stab in the commercial market. And I just rang up big construction companies like Barnes Construction and SEH French, Rose Builders, Brooks and Wood, all those companies that you see vans flying around.
Yeah.
And obviously, they're like, well, who are you? You'd tell them, and I had a decent website at the time. And there's a lot of no's, and you just kept going and going and going and going. And eventually you price a few jobs, you don't win a few, you carry on, and then you win something. I remember one of the ladies in my office at the time saying to me, God, you've done really well in getting to that market. And I remember feeling such an inside self-feeling of positivity of like, that's good that my team are noticing that I'm actually grafting really hard and trying to change something in the business.
Off, doesn't it?
Yeah. And they could see that, like, if he's doing all this, then we've got to be with him all the way,
Yeah.
So
amazing. So how was that? Obviously, you went from the domestic to commercial.
Yeah.
That transition, was there any challenges that came with that? Or, I mean, we said on last week's episode that everything good, there's always a sacrifice you have to make. What was the sacrifice from going to domestic to commercial?
It's a big scale, right?
Yeah, it's huge. And you look back at it now and you think, God, I've done well to achieve that.
Yeah.
So the two main factors for me, the big hurdles, were the health and safety element and financial. Because with domestic customers, I'd take a 50% deposit up front for the work, and then I'd do it all and then get the remainder of the money.
Yeah.
So I always had cash coming in.
Yeah, cash flow kind of.
Whereas obviously we'd do a school and it'd be 28-day payments at the end of the month. So you do a month's work, put your bill in, then you get paid a month after that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not getting any money for 2 months. That was the hardest thing.
So from the start.
Was that expected, or did that kind of hit you in the face?
And it was a bit of both. I knew it was going to be hard.
Yeah.
But I just made, as always, you get by.
Yeah.
I maybe didn't pay myself for a month or two.
Yeah.
And always put the guys first. That's what I always did. Always made sure they were paid every Friday because I knew they wanted to work hard for me and go, James looks after us. And if they got offered another job, they'd be like, well, actually, I'm really happy where I am because I've got a great boss. And this is one of my main sayings. People quit bosses, not jobs.
Yeah.
Because people follow people, don't they? And people buy from people as well,
So true.
It's one of my main philosophies of what I stick by.
Yeah, you've done a great job. We've been to the offices, haven't we, Jake?
Yeah.
And we can see the feeling around. You got a team. Obviously, the team loves you. It's just a great rapport with all your team. How have you been successful in achieving that? It's company culture, right? People, bosses do struggle growing a team. It's simple as that. We've seen it a lot. So talk to us. How have you achieved that so well?
That's been partly down to, I think, my own nature of being a very good people person, which is probably why I grew a good business in a short period of time. And it's getting people to believe in what you believe in. And what my business development manager, Tom, at the moment, he's like, I love our product, not because what we do is great, but because I love the company and I know what we do is good.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. So he can go out and sell our blokes, our quality, our reputation, our efficiency. Yeah, because he knows it's going to happen. Because the people behind him that I've put there, most honestly, quite recently, we've all got the resource with each other, and I've tried to outline, this is your role, that's your role, this is his role. Don't convolute the water and try and do a little bit of his and a little bit of that. Stick to what you're good at and what you're meant to do, because otherwise there's a breakdown in communication and overlap there. So obviously we've had a lot of people come and a lot of people go. I've had people come into my company who quickly form their own opinion of what they think.
But you're always going to get that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And immediately they're not right.
Yeah.
Because if you come in here and tell me what you think of my business, I don't want you.
I take it they're not there now.
No, definitely not.
It's a virus, isn't it? Because then they start to chat to other members of your team, and then you kind of, as soon as that comes in, are you quite ruthless then? If somebody comes in, they kind of don't quite fit with the culture of your company, is that a very quick, easy decision to make, or do you kind of sit on it for a while?
I can be quite ruthless when I need to be, but a lot of the time I'll always think about a decision. Am I happy? I'll ask myself these questions. Am I happy with that person? Can I work with them for a long time? Are the rest of the team happy with them? Because they might be right, but two people who worked for me for 4 years might think, God, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then think, what's James doing? He's making his poor decisions. He's not on the ball anymore. He's like, oh, I'm going to look for another job now.
Someone who I looked up to said to me once, write an email. If you're gonna grill someone or make a big decision, write the email, but always sleep on it before you send it. And very, very more often than not, you will not send that email in the morning.
Or you'll amend it.
Or you'll amend it, yeah.
You're not calling them an absolute.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
I go to town on some of them. But...
Yeah, you do. I mean, you scare us a little now.
I'm a big cuddly bear, really.
No, but that's so true, I think. I should imagine you got better at that because we
totally. And I do it now. I've a consultant, Paul Tejan, great guy, HR. Does a bit of debt collection mediation, which obviously that's a big problem in my industry, getting paid sometimes. And he always says, you're a brilliant guy, but God, you shoot from the hip. I'm like, I do, Paul, because I'm passionate about my company.
Yeah.
When people owe me money, they've took food off my table, like my blokes' mouths who've got mortgages, children, young kiddies. You know, they're not only knocking me, they're knocking them.
Yeah.
And I take that personally, and I'm still trying to work on it now, is just detaching yourself from, okay, that's happened through not any bad decision that I haven't made, it's just they've messed me around, so what am I going to do to get over it? You know, that's why
I think you need to keep a certain element of that though. I think that's what makes you a good boss and why these guys will literally follow you everywhere. Because you do that for them. They know that they're never going to be short and their families aren't going to struggle because you look after them and make sure they have what they need. So fair play.
Being on like the kind of the front line all the time and having that responsibility, is there anything like you do mentally just to kind of like, I mean, do you take time out? Do you have a bit of escapism that you like to do, or is it very much Curson Carpentry is on your mind 24/7?
There's always that question of work-life balance. Actually, I saw something on LinkedIn this morning. There's not that balance. It's a work-life harmony, and both have got to work. And over the years, all I used to do was work, and I don't regret that because if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be where I am today. But my hobbies are being in outdoors, shooting, fishing, dogs, the countryside. That's what I love. And I didn't do that for years. But when I was employed, that's all I used to do. Because when I used to work from 8:30 till 5:30, or at 5:30, I'd literally switch off because my phone wasn't ringing. I could go out and be like, I'm going to go out shooting tonight. You know, so I'd go home, have my tea, get my dog and go out. Whereas when I had my own business, I was like, I've got invoices to do, I've got quotes to do.
There's always something to do.
And now, as I've grown, I'm like, I've got more time to be able to do that because I've worked hard for those years and took that risk, but I've got the people in place that if I want to have a day off, nothing's fallen behind because I've tried to build a company so it almost doesn't need me now.
Self-sustainable.
So that's why I'm trying to, like, at the moment, and I've briefed all my team on this already, this is my direction. And like my company, Curson Carpentry, this is going to be huge when it starts, but it's going to become the Curson Group. So we're going to have a group of companies. So we're going to have different divisions. So not only can we price the carpentry element on sites, we're going to try and do the plastering and the decorating.
So the whole
we can control everything after us as well. So we can put multiple bits together.
Yeah, like an ecosystem of what you offer. So it's like a big holistic approach. It's good.
Big news.
It's huge.
When is that going to turn into?
There's no time scale on at the moment, and that's probably something I need to work on, Jack.
Just a long term.
Something else, all about the goals. It's what I want to achieve. Just go out and get it. You know, that might happen in a couple of years. It might happen in 6 months' time. Probably a couple of years is more realistic because that's not a small, quick, easy decision. And because I'd also like to build my own homes, so we're going to have Curson Homes, or maybe it might be name it something. I might name it after one of my children when we have children, or something like that. But that's something I've always wanted to do, like build good quality family homes. I mean, we work for some of the national builders now: Persimmon, Taylor Wimpey, Hopkins Homes, all those companies. We're in discussions with all of those. And Hopkins build a lovely home, but Persimmon build a box. No disrespect to their business model, and Taylor Wimpey do, because that's just what they do. But a proper family home that's well laid out, well fitted out, good quality, nice garden. Yeah, you're going to pay a few quid for it, but you think that's a really nice place to live, rather than all hemmed in and overlooking one another. You know, so that's something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, we call them checkpoint goals, don't we? And that, but again, that's another checkpoint goal for you, because I should imagine when you have that, then you'll be like, right, we've achieved this. Now, how are we going to better it? How are we going to make our project better?
Yeah.
So,
That next, I've already lined that up, is to have another depot or branch. So we're in Suffolk, Essex, Cambridgeshire, Bedfordshire, all those places now in the moment where we work, all of East Anglia really.
Yeah.
Why not have a Midlands branch?
Yeah.
You know, why not have a Southwest branch? You know, and just building on that brand of companies can know our business, but have exactly what we offer here, but in a different part of the country.
Sure.
You know?
So obviously you're very switched on in a business sense as well. Was there anybody that kind of gave you their advice or their knowledge and passed it on to you? Anybody that was like a mentor to you growing up, or did it all just come naturally?
Yeah, it did actually. There was one guy from Toppersfield who's now retired, a guy called David Last. He was one of the directors there, and even when I left Toppersfield and started my own business, I could always phone him up and be like, is this right? And he'd always give me an honest opinion, and he was one of the guys to follow your gut.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really have a mentor, and that's something that I almost wish I had. And I'd be more than happy to do that for somebody else or other people. Maybe we could have a workshop one day, us guys, business owners, doing speeches for people who want to know things. And because I would have certainly used that, and I'd actually offer that for free, because people want to know. I mean, yeah, you probably could charge for it, and there is people who charge for it. But
things with you as well, I think you've got that drive as well. Like there's that motivation, like you said, with the goals kind of thing. It's almost like you know your end point, and you're trying to reverse engineer how you get there. So it isn't necessarily about getting all of the business advice you can. It's about trying to work out, okay, if I did this, that would bring in this, and then I had to go and do this in order to get to that point of interest. So yeah, again, that's something that could easily be mentored as well.
Yes, and getting people to trust their inhibitions and their instincts. And yeah, you're going to make bad choices. That's all part of learning. Because, I mean, you look at the special, I relate this into special forces or fitness, right? Failure is success, because until you've reached that limit, you don't know what the breaking point is or the next point is. But people look as, oh, I didn't achieve that, as like, oh, I've failed, I'm just going to give up.
Yeah.
No, don't look at it like that. Look at it as a positive. Well, you've got to that point, now get to that point and go a little bit further.
You win or you learn.
Yeah, like with weight training and fitness and all that. You know, that's definitely something I need to get back into. Obviously, coming off the tools, you still eat the same food and you go out to client lunches and that. And I've definitely noticed it after the years. Yeah, it's something I need to work on myself. So
good man. James, how can people find you online? Where are you? You just talked about LinkedIn, and you're doing a great job on there.
Thank you.
But where can people find Curson Carpentry?
We've obviously got a website.
Yeah.
As it pretty much sounds, www.cursoncarpentry.co.uk. We're going to be updating our website imminently as we speak. My business development manager Tom's looking after that. So that, you know, it's already good, but it could be a lot better. I'd like to do more drone photography, videography, like flying over big building sites, all these roofs going on and that. You know, that's cool.
Yeah. Like a Hollywood kind of approach.
Yeah, anyone can take a picture of a door, can't they? How cool is that, you know? Let's have some people moving around, some images.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to focus on. But yeah, LinkedIn, I've actually come to the last couple of years. What a fantastic free tool. I probably could get the premium version, but I'm not really a super techie guy. You know, I'm an outdoorsman, I'm a tradesman, and I'm a countryman. You know. So LinkedIn is where you can find me. That also goes on, something earlier we were talking about making right decisions, because no one is, I haven't gone to university, I haven't got a degree in business management or finance or leadership. It's all from right decisions. And like when you become a dad.
Trial and error.
Yeah, like when you know, you're a recent father, aren't you, Jack?
I am.
You you didn't go to college for a year to learn how to do it. It's just something that you do.
And you learn and you make mistakes and you get better. Yeah.
Business is exactly like that. Well, it might be a little bit more on the line, but as long as you make the right choices and the right decisions, then you're not going to go far wrong.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
But no, LinkedIn, Facebook can go on there on our page and all that. That's something we've boosted a lot recently. But if you want to find me on LinkedIn, obviously James Curson,
Amazing.
Simple Curson.
Cool.
Yeah.
And last question before we wrap up.
Big question.
It's something we ask all our guests. What is the best thing about running a business and owning a business, and in Suffolk specifically as well?
I wouldn't put it into an area.
No.
The best thing about owning your own business is multiple things. Freedom to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And only being answerable to yourself. If you make a bad decision, if you mess up, it's your fault.
Yeah.
But learn from it. Because you can't go, oh, he didn't do that because I asked him 2-3 weeks ago and he never bothered. Well, no, it's down to you, mate.
Accountability.
That's the word.
Yeah,
accountability.
Cool.
So
Brilliant.
Amazing.
James, thanks so much for joining us, mate. We've really absolutely loved it. Some amazing insight for our listeners and viewers. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate.
See you soon.